Hi friends, Mindy here. Thought I would share my February planner setup in my bullet journal. I use an Archer and Olive square dot grid notebook. They have different sizes. This is just the one I am currently using. And I love it because the paper is really thick. And today I am going to be using these cute stamps from Sweet and Sassy Stamps. They're all coffee related. I just received these, I think last month I ordered them, and they just have some fun quotes and everything. I'm going to be doing a coffee themed bullet journal spread. I love these coffee cups, and you can add the quotes kind of on the inside of the coffee cups. It's super cute. And I'll also be using these Felicity Jane stamps for my calendar. And then I have some Everyday Explorers stamp sets. I may or may not use these. I'm not sure. I have the months and then the days of the week. These are two different sets. So let's get started. So I'm just adding some paper underneath my bullet journal here because I am a kind of messy stamper. So the first thing I'm going to do is my cover page, and I have already sketched out all of my pages in pencil. I like to do it that way. Just makes my life a little bit easier. And I'm just going back through and erasing some of those pencil lines to make them lighter so that I can use this Tombow marker. And I'm just going to hand letter the word February over the front. And I sort of run out of room. My handwriting is really big anyway, so I have trouble spacing it sometimes, but that's okay. I'm working on improving this particular skill. Anyway, I'm just using a Tombow dual brush marker here in kind of a coffee colored brown, and then I'm just going back over and erasing all of that and cleaning up the page. And now I'm going to stamp this coffee cup down here at the bottom of my page. This again is from Sweet and Sassy Stamps, and I'm using an archival ink in the color coffee. No, that was actually in black, in jet black, and then I'm going to stamp the little sleeve in coffee archival ink. And the reason I'm using archival is because if I want to add color or anything to it, it's a waterproof ink, so I can use my Tombows or whatever to color it in and it won't smear. Somehow when I was cleaning my stamp, I got this little drip of something onto my page here, so I'm going to have to figure out a way to cover that up. But for now, I'm just going to use this other Tombow marker and just kind of color in what would be the sleeve of this coffee cup. And I'm going to figure out a way to kind of cover up that ink. And I'm just just using a quote here that says, "But first coffee," on the little sleeve, because that's just the truth. And I'm adding this washi tape down at the bottom. This is actually a scratch and sniff washi tape, which I found at Hobby Lobby a while ago, and I just think it's the cutest. So I'm going with a kind of a brown and green theme for February. It's not really very traditional, but I love coffee, and February is the month of love, so there you go. I just used one of the stamps from Sweet and Sassy Stamps that it looks like a spilled coffee stain, and I just used that to kind of cover up that section where I had that little spot from when I cleaned my stamp. And then I'm just stamping another one on the other side just to look like coffee stains. I ended up having to go back over that with darker marker, but I did that off camera just to really be able to cover that up. And I'm using that same archival ink in the coffee color up there at the top. This page is going to be my monthly spread, and I always just, like I said, I pencil out the calendar first, and then I'm just using a T ruler to draw in my lines. And I'm actually using micron pens, but these are in sepia tone instead of black. I have both black and brown, but I'm kind of using them interchangeably throughout all of this, these calendar spreads. And then I'm using this green Tombow marker to write February again here across the edge of the calendar. And now I'm just cleaning up the little eraser shavings. That's just a little desktop vacuum, that little ladybug looking thing. And I had some bleed through. Usually Archer and Olive pages they're 160 GSM, so they don't typically bleed through, but because I had that issue, I'm just kind of working around it on both sides. And here I'm using actually the lid to a spray bottle, and I'm just making these little tiny circles using my stamp pad with the coffee colored archival ink. And then I'm just going to go in and color those in with my Tombow. And then I'll come back and stamp some, again, that just are not colored in. Just kind of trying to recreate that theme of, spilled coffee or coffee drops or whatever. And now I'm adding some more coffee themed washi tape along that left side there. And I'm going to use that same Tombow and just write the days of the week across the top of my calendar. I know some people use a Monday start, but I always make my monthly calendar view with a Sunday start. That's just how my brain works because it's like a traditional calendar. And then I'm using these Felicity Jane calendar stamps to number all of the days. This takes a minute, but I just thought the little circles kind of continued that same theme, so I just went ahead and did all that off camera. And then I added some more of that scratch and sniff washi along the boxes that I drew in that were part of the calendar but were actually like the days of March. But sometimes I don't mark those out at all, and I add something there. I just forgot when I was making my grid, so I just covered those up with washi tape. And now I'm moving on to a page that I'm going to title Project Bingo. I would do one of these pages every month just to kind of tackle some different things that I want to get done, and it just makes it fun without having to assign them to some random day or whatever. They're just some things, house organization or, just those kind of projects that I want to get done. And so I'm adding some more washi tape down along the bottom just for decoration, and then erasing my pencil marks. And then I'm going to use this light colored Tombow and write bingo across the top. And then I'm going to use a micron pen, and I'm going to write project in a hand script across, like right over the top of the word bingo. I like doing these kind of titles. And then I'm doing my free space square that says but first coffee, and then I'll fill in all of those squares with things that I want to get done during the month of February. And I'm just using a couple of the smaller coffee cups from those Sweet and Sassy stamps sets. I can't remember the names of them, but I'll try to include them down at the bottom in the comments. And then I'm just going to color these in just using my Tombow markers. And on this other side, I'm just creating another tracker. I do a few different types of trackers every month. This is a wellness tracker, and so I'm just using, again, my my brown colored microns to draw the lines for this tracker. And then I'm going to temporarily put this piece of washi tape right along the edge of that right side, and I'm going to use my lightest colored, kind of tan colored Tombow, and I just colored every other line. It just makes it easier when I'm filling out this tracker to have the different lines colored. And then I'm just going to peel off the washi tape, and that just makes it so that it's real easy to run the Tombow all the way across and get a good clean edge. And I'm going to use that same type of title up here. I'm going to write out the word tracker with my Tombow, and then I'm going to use a script font and just write wellness over the top. And then again, I'm going to add that cute little coffee cup. And I got a little bit of ink. I'm a kind of messy stamper sometimes. So I get stray marks and stuff sometimes. And then I'm going to use these little coffee beans. I think this is actually from a different stamp set. And then I'm just using, again, Tombows to color all of those things in. So that is my wellness tracker and my project bingo pages. And I'm adding another washi tape down here across the bottom of the wellness tracker. I have several coffee themed washi tapes that I'm trying to use. This is another tracker that I'm making, and so I'm just going to add a coffee cup down here in the bottom right corner. I'm just going to stamp a quote inside the coffee cup. And it says coffee because adulting is hard. This stamp is one of the reasons why I wanted this stamp set, because I think that quote is just hilarious. So again, just using my straight edge or T-ruler here and my microns. I'm trying to get my life a little bit more organized, so I'm trying to make a tracker here for some ideas. And then I'm just going to add some washi tape down along the bottom. And this washi tape is kind of a wider washi tape, so it's going to cover the base of that coffee cup. So I'm just going to come back with an X-Acto knife, and I'm cutting around where that coffee cup is so that the washi tape looks like it's behind the coffee cup. Just easier for me to do it that way than to try to lay it down around it. And this page is going to be a line of day spread. I like to kind of keep track of things that happen during the day, or even a word that describes how that day went, or just something to kind of keep track of how my month is going. And so this month, instead of doing a literal line a day, I'm kind of making individual boxes and just marking those out with my micron pen. And I put another one of those coffee cups down at the bottom right corner. And then off camera, I lost some footage here, but off camera I added some more stamps, and I added some drop shadows with a Tombow marker and colored everything in. And now I'm just adding some more of that scratch and sniff washi tape. And this is my first weekly spread. I have been using this layout for a couple months, and I'm really liking it. I might change it up, but when it's working for me, I tend to kind of stick with a plan. So I have these set up so that on the right page here are all my days of the week. And then on the left page, that big box is where I kind of do almost a brain dump. I just kind of list down everything that I need to get done in a week, or things that come up that I don't have a specific day for, or that are not time sensitive or whatever, just things that I need to get done. That's just kind of how my mind works. And then I fit those things into my days based on everything else that's going on in my life. I have 4 kids. I have 2 that are grown, but one is still being homeschooled, and the other is in dual enrollment for her senior year. And so I have, kind of a lot going on. So I just kind of keep things a little bit more fluid this way, instead of having to write something and then rewrite it because I wasn't able to accomplish it that day or whatever. I keep it a little bit more fluid by having like an intentions section, like these are the things that I want to accomplish this day, or this week, and then I kind of assign them to the days as my week moves forward, just kind of making sure I'm getting all those things done. So on the weekly pages over there on the right, I just added some washi and some stamping just to decorate each of the little boxes. And then anything that's like specific appointments or whatever, like my kids have music lessons on Friday, I'll write that in. But everything else kind of stays pretty fluid this way. And then on the left side of the left page, the top section that has the 3 little hearts, those are my top 3, like 3 major things that I need to get done this week. And then the next box down is going to be a meal tracker, or meal plan basically for the week. And then the bottom is a habit tracker. And so I've just gone in and now I'm just doing some of the decorating, just coloring in the stamps. And I used one of the background stamps that look like coffee beans to fill in that habit tracker over in the bottom left-hand corner. And I apologize if this seems a little scattered. This is my first time ever trying to record a plan with me like this. I've used bullet journals for a long time. I just have never tried to record myself doing it. So it was a little trickier than I anticipated, but that's okay. Hopefully everything is making sense. So now I'm working over on that habit tracker, just drawing in the lines. And then I can go in and as I'm filling that in during the week, just mark out the squares. It's much easier for me to have a weekly habit tracker than to have a monthly habit tracker. I know some people do it that way, but I have tried it in the past and it just works much better for me to have it weekly, like right where I can see it, because this page usually sits open on my desk during the day so I can see everything. And so it's much easier for me to have that visual right in front of me that there are still things I need to get done that day. So again, I'm just writing the titles over there that say top 3, meal plan, and habits. And then I'm just going to letter February. And here's where I mess up. I just left this part in just so you can see how I fix this. The week actually started on Monday. I do my weekly spreads with a Monday start. That's just how it works in my brain. And then I realized that I wrote February 2nd and I didn't have enough room. So I was just going to leave that and just kind of be like, oh, well, that's the first part of the week. And then I realized it's actually February 1st. And so I totally messed up that section. But here in a minute, I'm going to fix it. And I'm just coloring in these coffee cups really quick here with these Tombow markers. Just adding some coloring and some shading, and not really anything super specific because, I don't spend a whole lot of time doing this. I want them to be cute, but I'm a very functional planner, so I need my planner to actually work for me. So I'm more about function than form, although I do try to add a few cute things in here and there. Again, just filling in all these little areas, adding some little dots around these coffee beans that I stamped. And I don't think I mentioned, but I stamped that. This is where I realized that I messed up. So anyway, I'm just taking from a page out of the back of my book. You can see where I swatch things and test papers and pens and stuff in the back. So I just cut off a corner and I'm going to trim that down to fit and just cover up that area where I made that mistake. So I'm just trimming out this piece of paper. And I do have some perfectionist tendencies, so sometimes this is hard, but I just didn't want to have to redo this whole page. So I am just covering it up, and this will be good enough for me. So I'm just using my ATG gun here and putting some adhesive on the back, and I'm going to put this piece, and I'm kind of just piece it right back in to cover where I made that mistake, and then just fixing the handwriting that got covered up by the new paper. And now I'm going to go ahead and put this header that is the February 1st through 7th. And I can actually do this the way that I want to now. And then I'm going to take that same stamp with the coffee ink, and I stamped it off once. So this is a second generation stamp, so it's lighter, but it still gives me that coffee spill look up at the top, in the top corner. So that's how I fixed that. And don't be afraid to do that if you make mistakes like I did. And so here is, I'm flipping back to this page where I have these two trackers. I'm going to work on this other tracker that I didn't finish earlier. I sometimes skip around when I'm working in my bullet journal. Just adding some more of that scratch and sniff washi down at the bottom. And I'm using, this isn't a micron, but it's the same type of pen that I got. And I'm just including this tracker. I'm on a few design teams, so I'm just using that for that. And then here is a flip through of the February pages that I have made so far. And if you like this video, I'd appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. So thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye bye.